Welcome everybody to the 2022 Volvo XC40 Recharge. The Recharge over here means it's fully electric. There is no internal combustion engine here. It's all electric. It looks very much similar to the petrol counterpart, but fundamentally inside there are many changes and we need to see how this car is. Front end of the XC40 Recharge is slightly different to the petrol counterpart. The petrol counterpart obviously has a functional grille to get air to the engine. This doesn't have an engine, so it's covered by the same body colored panel. I think it's something that's a unique look and it would differentiate. If you see one on the roads with a body colored plaque, you know that this is the electric version, the Recharge. Everything else is very much similar to the petrol counterpart. It's got the same Volvo theme, the Thor hammer headlights, the DRLs and the indicators. I think they look really good, and these cars are one of the best looking cars in its segment, and I think I'm a big fan of the way this car looks. The side profile of the XC40 is where you realize this is actually quite a compact vehicle. The dimensions aren't very big, but it looks really good with these 20-inch diamond cut alloys that this car is shod with. I think they look really good and it adds a very nice, chunky, meaty stance to the car. It's got dual tone roof, it cuts off with a C-pillar very stylishly, and it has a Recharge mention on it. Again, another highlight to make it differentiate against its petrol counterpart. It also has some cladding to give it a little bit of that, rugged, credentials. But obviously this is mostly a city dweller car. But again, it's a good look. The side profile also is as stylish as the other parts of the car. The rear of the Volvo XC40, again, lots of cuts and creases like the other parts of the car. Some standout features where, the C-shaped taillights, which is exclusive to Volvo crossovers and SUVs. It's got minimalistic badging, so it's got Volvo and the XC40. And it's got a ton of cladding in the rear bumper, again, to give it that rugged credential. Obviously, please don't take this off the road. But again, it's a good looking car. It's got a nice extension of the rear spoiler and the rear wiper. Again, I'm a big fan of the way this car looks. So when we come to the front of the XC40 Recharge, we know there is no internal combustion engine anymore. So what does this space do? Yes, this is also what they call a frunk. A trunk in the front is called a frunk. When you open it, it does have hydraulic gas struts, and then you get this big storage. When you open it, then you realize it's actually not that big inside. It takes up, the space is mostly taken up by the charging equipment that this comes with the car. There is an additional, you can move this partition, but mostly this space can be used by the charging facility that this car can provide. Now we're inside the Volvo XC40 Recharge, and when you sit in, you'll be recognizing that it's a very familiar Volvo interior, which again is not a bad thing at all. Everything you touch and feel is extremely premium. The door cards, there's leather everywhere, there's usage of gloss black, which personally I'm not a big fan of because it's a very big dust magnet and fingerprint magnet. But everywhere else, there's very generous use of aluminium on the steering wheel, on the AC vents, and all over the interior. It looks really good. There's also this sort of this texture that's on the door cards and on the other parts of the interior just above the storage bins. The speedometer is all digital. It's got the Google Maps integration onto the middle MID. You've got a big screen here, a 10-inch screen, which basically is the heart of the car. You can control everything from the maps, the audio, to the vehicle settings and everything. Then you've got this very cute, stubby little small gear lever. Just you have to push it into drive and it just goes off. There's also an armrest here to put some stuff, a wireless charging tray, and some physical buttons for the audio, the volume knob and such. But all the AC controls are through this touchscreen. I'm not a very big fan of this touchscreen because it is a little bit laggy. 90% of the time it works well. 10% when you need it the most, it might just be a little bit laggy and it might be a little frustrating, specifically at what this car is priced at. The seats are really, really good, really supportive. You've got so much support, and you've got extendable, under thigh support as well, which is really nice for the long drives. Again, it's a lovely place to be, and Volvo always nails the interior. Obviously, one honorary mention is the audio system this car has. This one does not have the standard Bowers and Wilkins. It has the Harman Kardon, but this is no less than anything else. of the Volvo XC40 Recharge. I know the name is a little mouthful, but as you can see, it's a nice place to be. The panoramic sunroof is really big, so there's light coming in even the back, so all this dark interior does not feel claustrophobic. The windows are on the smaller side, but you've got a little nice texture pattern going on the door cards and a lot of use of, you know, leatherette material. Oh no, this is not leather. Even the front seats, it's not leather. It's an eco-friendly sort of mixture of materials that gives it the leather look and sort of this Alcantara suede look, but it's a very eco-friendly material that Volvo's been promoting. Obviously this is an eco-friendly car, it's an EV, so Volvo is sticking to the trend of that eco-friendly theme inside the car. So this might seem all leather, but it's actually not. It's a very leatherette sort of, you know, PU, artificial leather sort of material. Again, it feels really good though, so Volvo's really pulled it off. You do have an armrest with cup holders, and the backrest is a little upright and under thigh support is a little on the lesser side, but again, it is manageable. You can do long trips sitting in the back. You've got AC vents, heated seats, and a USB-C ports in the back to charge your phone. Again, a nice place to be inside. Now I'm behind the wheel of the Volvo XC40 Recharge, and as this being an EV, it's extremely silent. Let's get the stats out the way. So this car has a 78 kilowatt per hour battery, which helps it put out 201 horsepower and about 250 pound-feet of torque. It helps the car to go from 0 to 100 in about 5 seconds, and it's pretty punchy. I mean, you know, if you can just mash your foot and it just goes. Wow, it's so smooth. Because it's an electric vehicle, it's so smooth and there's no disturbance. The power is instant and it's so good. The claimed range that Volvo says is about 350 kilometers. I've done about 180 kilometers and I have 47% left on charge. I think this can do somewhere very close to the claimed charge range that Volvo claims, which is a really good thing. The suspension is really good, even though this car runs on 20-inch rims, so it's supposed to be harsh. It is a bit harsh, especially on the bumps. It might filter into the cabin a little bit, but it's really comfortable. The seats are really nice and the ride is really good. The steering feel is really good. When you push it around corners, it has great feedback, especially at higher speeds. Within city speed, it lightens up just enough so it's easy to maneuver in city traffic, especially in tight parking spots. And obviously this car isn't very big, so it obviously helps being small in tight parking spaces, especially in downtown areas. Again, Volvo has nailed the driving, ride, handling combination of this car so well. I really can't fault anything this car has. Perhaps nitpicking, the brake pedal feel isn't the best, but that's really nitpicking, trying really hard to find a fault. I can't fault here much in the driving dynamics part. In conclusion then, the Volvo XC40 Recharge. I know I've said it so many times in this video already, but I just love saying the whole name. It's a brilliant package. It's compact, it's just the perfect size for driving around every day. It's got good enough range, it's got a lot of power. I think it looks really good and it handles really well as well. It's a pretty practical vehicle. At around 70,000 Canadian dollars, it's a bit on the pricey side. But when you look at the package as a whole, I think it's a great value. I mean, you can definitely daily drive this every day. In fact, I would even say this is perhaps one of the better daily drivers available in the market today.